Hi dear friends, today is Friday, June 12th. Let's watch the charts for the euro and the pound sterling and try to figure out their further moves. We see that the euro was rather volatile against the US dollar yesterday, so was the British pound. The market catalyst for the euro yesterday was the ECB decision to raise the key interest rate by 25 basis points to 2.25% for the first time in nearly 3 years. All in all, the ECB is the first influential central bank to tighten its monetary policy in response to the Iranian war. Christine Lagarde said at the press conference that prospects remain uncertain with higher inflation risks and grave risks of an economic slowdown. The ECB should be on alert to make sure that inflation does not spread from the energy sector to other sectors. Hence, the rate hike was justified. Besides, ECB policymakers don't rule out that they will have to maintain this hawkish policy in the future. Thus, the ECB will likely raise interest rates at the next policy meeting. The market already priced in such expectations in euros value. I mean that yesterday's rate hike was anticipated, and the euro didn't have much support for its growth. Another thing is Trump's statement that the US would refrain from further strikes at Iran. On previous days, the US had stepped up its bombing on Iran with the threat to launch an extremely disastrous attack. However, yesterday Donald Trump stated that Washington was on the way to truce with Tehran and the deal was allegedly signed, though without any proof. Risky assets responded with a rapid rally. In turn, this sapped the dollar's confidence. Such developments are pure market manipulation. I mean that any Trump's remark on the Middle Eastern conflict made an immediate impact on market sentiment. In fact, the true picture of the conflict is vague. Markets can draw conclusions based on reports in mass media, but this information is certainly unverified. Now let's take the economic calendar for today. The report on the UK GDP is due soon. GDP is expected to log a 0.1% downtick in April from a 0.3% increase in the previous month. Perhaps we'll see a small upward revision of the data for the previous month. In case of weak data, the pound sterling will come under pressure. Other reports are UK industrial production, trade balance data, and consumer inflation expectations for the second quarter. All the data will matter a lot to further dynamics of the pound-dollar pair. As for the Eurozone, we will get to know the CPI for Germany, France, and Spain. Finance ministers of the Eurozone will assemble for a meeting today, so a lot of news might have a negative impact on the euro. The rate hike didn't help the euro yesterday. Recent economic data shows that the Eurozone's economy hardly copes with high interest rates. Hence, further rate hikes will put a strain on macroeconomic indicators. What data is due in the US today? The Consumer Sentiment Index by the University of Michigan and inflation expectations are the only reports worthy of note. Still, all this economic data is overshadowed by the news on the Middle Eastern crisis. Now let's turn to technical analysis. For the euro-dollar pair, 1.1556 on the 1 hour chart is a good level for long positions during a false breakout. The target is 1588. If 1556 is broken downwards, it makes sense to open short positions with the target at 1529. Then the price could slide to the lower bound of the downtrend channel at 1.1506. Here, I will plan long positions, bearing in mind a 20-25 pip climb. I expect vigorous bearish activity at 1588. If the price cannot settle there, the instrument may correct to 15.56. If the bulls enter the market, and the instrument will have energy to grow to 16.17 and 16.45, I will sell from there during a bounce, bearing in mind a decline of 25-30 pips. As for the pound sterling, let's wait for its reaction to the economic data. If the price data disappoints, I expect the bears at 33.88. If not, I will wait for a false breakout at 33.59. I will sell the sterling with the target at 33.31, pricing in a fall of 25-30 pips. If the data is okay, I will buy the British pound at 34.24 during a dip with the target at 34.78, bearing in mind a climb to 25-30 pips. Good luck!